This is horrible. I just finished recording like an hour and 12 minutes for the first Bakemonogatari reaction. And I went to stop the recordings. I stopped the one that recorded like my screen and the video. And then I stopped the one that recorded me and the camera. And it crashed. And there's no file to restore. There's nothing. Gone. Luckily, the recording of the screen and stuff has two audio tracks. It's got the desktop audio track for what's playing, and then it's also got the microphone audio track. So the whole audio track is still there. It exists, and I can do whatever I want with it. But the video track of this guy, like talking and making expressions and reacting, it's just gone. This is the worst. So, I'm gonna, like, put it all together so that it's still a thing and it's watchable, or I guess listenable. But all I've got is the audio commentary, the audio track. I'm really sorry about this. I'm gonna try and figure out what happened in OBS and why it crashed. Damn. So, I'm really sorry. Thought it was a pretty good video. But now it's not a video, really. In any case, here's the audio reaction to Bakemonogatari Episode 1. Hopefully this never ever ever happens again. Sorry. Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am starting a new show. This is going to be episode 1 of Bakemonogatari. We got some housekeeping to do before we actually get into it, so I want to do a little intro, let you know what I know about Bakemono and the story so far. Also some other stuff. So first off, not sure on the order yet. I know that there are a lot of people talking about the order. It's confusing to me, and I'm not sure yet. But I know that I'm going to watch Bake first, so I'm going to watch Bake first. Second, version and subtitles. I've grabbed the Cool Girls version 3.1 subs from Nya. That Blu-ray release. Seems pretty good. I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know, but should be pretty okay. If there is a different preferred subtitle group for Bake specifically, let me know. I can adapt. It'll be fine. Other things. This won the poll by a landslide. I just absolutely trashed all of the competition, which I kind of expected going into it. The first stage of the poll just didn't work. Polly is not useful as a polling tool because it's really easy to manipulate. Bots or not, you can just like choose somebody else's name when you enter the Polly poll and change all their votes, which means that if you actually want to mess with the poll, you can just go through everybody's names and change all their votes to the thing you want. So I created a second version of the poll on Patreon only, and on it I put Monogatari, of course, along with Modao Zushi, Tatami Galaxy, Bungo Stray Dogs, and Noragami. And Monogatari won with almost triple the votes of the next highest thing on the poll. So, and that was for patrons only, so there was actually some accountability in who was voting and all that stuff. So, we're gonna watch Monogatari. I still want to watch Modao Zushi, but I'm not sure where or when or how I would fit it into my schedule, so I don't know where that would be. But I want to watch it, so maybe I'll do it as a late night, or maybe I'll see how this new season of anime for spring 2019, I'll see how that shakes up schedule-wise. I've got a list of all the things that I'm going to be watching, at least trying the first episodes of. And it looks like there will be something of an opening on Tuesday, potentially. and there might be some time on Friday, potentially. So we'll see how it all shakes out once I figure out what I actually want to watch from next season. And if I've got an open slot, I might just throw Modazushi in there because I do really want to watch it. But that's kind of a side note because we're watching Bakemonogatari. First and foremost, something that I should get out of the way and be like completely transparent about. I've seen some portion of this. I don't know how much, I don't know how long ago it was, and I don't remember almost anything. Very much like Evangelion, I watched this at some point. I watched the first few episodes, I think. I don't think I finished the season. I don't think I even came close. And then I dropped it for reasons that I do not know anymore. I just don't remember. Probably I had work and just like fell away from it. So I've seen some portion of this show, and so I know some things about it. I know Araragi and I know Senjogahara. I know Senjogahara is a tsundere, but like not quite. And I've got some idea of the way the show works. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. See, my knowledge of it is so vague and nebulous that it really isn't knowledge. It's just a general set of feelings. So take that as you will. In any case, at least the first few episodes of this will not be a perfectly, purely 100% blind reaction. I want to be totally transparent about that. So take that as you will. So, Bakemonogatari. This is a rather well-regarded franchise. Rather well-regarded show in general. It is a Shaft show, so I'm expecting head turns and inventive use of color and interesting use of framing and stuff. I've also heard a lot of things about Monogatari. I've heard that it's heavily dialogue based, that the visuals, while they're fantastic, are there as like a vehicle for delivering interesting dialogue to the viewer. And accenting it. But if you've been watching my Sangatsu reactions, you know how I feel about Shaft shows and Shaftisms, and I love them. And this is the Shaft show type thing. I also know that the TV version had a lot of stuff missing, and that was then patched in later for the Blu-ray versions, and we're watching the Blu-ray version. So there shouldn't be like missing scenes or anything. But that's just an interesting Shaft thing that they sometimes do. What else? I know there are like spirit monster things, but it's not as though they're like evil spirits that have to be fought and defeated. It's more like they're representations of like personal problems in the lives of people that the main character meets, I think. Again, vague, nebulous stuff. I'll probably get a better idea of what's going on once we watch the episode. So let's do that. For the first time in a while, I'm going to do shill stuff before the video just to let you know what's up. So if you like this video, go ahead and like it. If you hate it, give it a thumbs down. It's all good. If you could leave me a comment letting me know what you dislike about it so that I can use that information to improve, that would be really helpful. If you're not subbed and you want more, maybe do that. And if you are subbed and you're not getting my videos, maybe the bell can help you. And as always, if you really like this content or want to support this guy who makes it, you can head over to patreon.com/Teeaboo, get early access to next week's Monogatari video, and a bunch of other stuff, including access to Discord and the ability to vote in future polls. So check that out if you want to. And finally, we're ready to go. Pretty much, right? Yeah, we're pretty much ready to go. I'm going to make sure that I've got notes ready to go. Got paper and a pencil, which is hiding over here, and there it is. Okay. Paper and a pencil. So ready to write down anything that takes me, that captures my attention and I want to talk about. So there will probably be a pretty long discussion at the end of this. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, there will be multiple versions of this reaction video. There will be picture-in-picture versions with the video up there, and you can find them in the description down there. There will be the timer-based version on YouTube with a beep-beep timer, which will go boop, 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 beep, and on the beep and the green light, that's the same frame that Bakemonogatari episode 1 starts playing on my screen. So if you're playing along with your own version of the media, that's probably when you want to hit the button. And once again, this is the Cole Girls version 3.1 release. So that should be all the information you need. Beep-beep timer goes here. Pantsu. Kiss shot heart under blade. I'll have to report it soon. That was really fast. And we're doing a chopped up aspect ratio for ultra wide. So is this in the past? Crab, snake, cat, vampire, beginning. Now we're in full aspect ratio. So this is the present. That's Senjo Gahara, right? And I remember her being weightless. Wow. Okay. Classic. I don't know everything, I just know what I know. What's Golden Week? So what happened? Is that her? That's her. Hmm. 5 kilograms? Tough spot. Yeah. That's not terrifying. Wow. Left his bag. There we go. Hi again. That's the question. No injury. Okay. Hmm. Ah. So we're gonna play with self-awareness. How does your body conceal stationary, by the way? Is that just in hammer space? Okay. There's probably more than you can hold. Gigantic pile. My 5,000 barbarous comrades? Okay. Sama. Ooh. Yeah. What is Golden Week? Speak for herself. Yeah. Names have power. He sees through her. Was that? Holy shit, that was an episode. Time just like evaporated. Okay. Okay. Fascinating. I feel like I was silent the entire time. Um, Actually, that episode felt like it was about half the length of an episode. Because I was super engrossed in it. Let's take stock of what we've got. We've got 4 characters and 1 silent nothing. The world simultaneously feels large and alive, but also empty and kind of insular. Um, there's no like pretext of this being an ordinary school with a bunch of kids, a bunch of people. All we see are the characters that matter, which is interesting. There are a bunch of Ava-like fast frames, like just a few frames with a shitload of text on them, which we'll need to go through and take a look at, see if we can unravel some of the mystery. I can't say that this really fits any conventional type of like genre at this point. Interesting. Sanjogahara is weightless, but not really. She's just significantly reduced weight. And Araragi is a former undead vampire who was healed by Oshino. The OP stapler, I think it's called. I saw stapler, yeah. Or staple. Or stable. It's really cool. It's super duper shafty. When dialogue is occurring, there are all of these super ultra close-ups of specific facial features to show emotion, like ultra close-ups of eyes and lips, especially. I think it's most noticeable during the standoff between Araragi and Sanjogahara and the conversation in the classroom between Araragi and whatever her name is, the student council president girl. We start off with a panty shot, which is an odd one, before even introducing this character. And there's a timer in the bottom right-hand corner, but why? Is every frame of this unique? And when does the timer start? Once we cut back to his eye. And then so that's the moment that he sees. And then we tick onward. Follow the motion of the skirt up. Where did my subs go? Kiss shot. Sorella Orion? Heart under blade? Heart under blade. Duty. I think I'll have to report it soon. Certainly I have that duty. We tick up to 1 second and stop. And the light changes. Blood, 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 blood. Ah, ra, ra, gi, koyomi. Streetlights. Kiss shot. Animation number 21. I met her during the short vacation between the second and third years of high school. That was a bunch. It was a shocking and devastating encounter. In any case, I think I just had bad luck. So what the hell are these two guys? Guy with what looks like 2 swords and this guy with a gigantic, seemingly bloody cross. I love this shot with the two, like the two vanishing points over here and over here. It's really cool. It actually reminds me of a shot in JoJo's Part 4. I think it's a cover. It's either a cover or just a spread in JoJo's Part 4. And there's Oshino. Oshino Meme. Using powers of some variety. And he's got a cross as well. In the end, it happened because of who I am. This series of events happened, I think. Oh, Jesus. Regarded as a so-called weak girl in the class. I've never once seen her do anything active. Huh. Top 10 names in the rankings. I keep missing this first frame. Oh, damn it. That screws up the subs. Damn it. Okay. Hands reaching out for the student council girl. Oshino with a heart. And everything is in this ultra widescreen chopped perspective, or chopped aspect ratio. Which is sort of Shaft shorthand for flashback or similar. This lady seems very powerful. Doesn't seem to have any friends. And then there's a super short frame right after that. Can't say that she's being bullied. She's building a wall around herself. Okay. Being there is natural, not being here is like natural. Oh, Jesus. There are so many. That is an insane cut. And just like explodes into cubes. Jeez, that's cool. So, like I said, she's of no consequence. Is this still talking about Senjo Gahara? Or is this talking about something else? I was in no way lonely, and I was okay with that. That's what I thought, however, then that day happened. Crab. Snail. Monkey. Snake. Cat. Vampire. Beginning. Nishio Isin. Akiyuki Shimbo. Title. Running up some stairs. Something about the aesthetic that's intentionally off. Like there's no attempt to make these colors and shading feel realistic. They're stylized and stylish and strange. I guess there are sort of two ways you can go about, or two or three ways you can go about like setting up the style for a world. You can try to make it as realistic as possible. If you think of like certain kyoani shows like K-On!, the backgrounds are made to be almost hyper realistic with just like very little stylization. You can see the same kind of thing in Makoto Shinkai films. And then you can go like hyper stylized and make everything an anime version of itself. This seems to land somewhere in the middle, where it's clear that none of this is trying to feel normal or real, but it's still got like consistent rules for the structure of everything. It's just that the way that the camera is placed makes everything look really weird. Yeah, huge focus on eyes. And they're really well done eyes too. Yeah. Falling. Falling. What was that? Damn it. Black scene, animation number none. Okay. God, that's pretty. Okay, and then stable, or stable, whichever one it is. Really cool OP. Hard shadows that play with space. Especially here. This whole shot is kind of amazing. There are all of these 90-degree angles lined up. And then there are these 45-degree angles that are again all in parallel. They line up here, here. And then there's another shadow across their desks. Fits together like puzzle pieces. It's kind of fascinating. And then over here, this desk is just slightly off from everything else. And all their shadows follow the 45-degree angle of the sun coming in. That's really neat. And there's another change to it here. These are at like 30 degrees. Really neat. We go from this wide space to super intimate, small actions of the hands, then close-ups on eyes and faces. Elements all jumbled together. Aikawa. Okay, just her name. The class representative of all class representatives. This shot in particular stands out to me. Like, you wouldn't usually choose to obscure your main characters with a bunch of stuff in the background, but you do here, and it creates like a really visually interesting shot as they're talking about cultural festival stuff. And they're talking about very, very tropey cultural festival things. But Aragi's focus is on Senjogahara. And again, you wouldn't normally obstruct the character that we're looking at, but we're looking at her from Aragi's perspective, and he's holding this pen up in front of her. Really strange. I don't know everything, I just know what I know. Good line. She remarks that it's rare for him to be interested in someone else, so he's a loner as well. And then she sort of brings the tropes into it. Boys always like girls who are physically ill. And he sort of wonders whether that's really the case. Was there text over this? No, it doesn't seem to have been subbed. Okay. So she's the odd one, the standout, the girl in her class who's different, but who used to be an idol of the school. Fragile existence. And the pen drop finishes off the conversation. So he leaves more shadows at a 45-degree angle. Hello. You get real scary real fast. Sort of fish-eyed warped perspective around her. She's a weird one. She corrects herself after saying this. Don't move. No, that's not right. You can move if you want to, but it'll be very painful. I understood. And then we remove almost like 2/3 of the frame, making this very intimate and like claustrophobic. Comparing curiosity to cockroaches. And we're let in on what's going on. Okay. Weight itself was taken from me. I see. I have no weight. I have no dignity. Absolutely no dignity. Staples his cheek anyway. Super threatening. Oh, and then we get this spin. Right side up. Right side right. Upside down. Left side. Then we're back to right. Pretty cool. This type of injury means nothing to me, and that ties in with what we saw in the very beginning. The dialogue is fantastic and witty and snappy. Why does she carry so much stationery around with her? Immense piles of it. She uses them as weapons. Vampire marks. Signs, signs, signs. Signs are going to be a big deal. We've got a complete color change. As the sun sort of goes down, everything becomes red. She's kind of a dork. My 5,000 barbarous comrades will attack your family. That's pretty dorky. She also says something when they're driving, which I skipped over. Something about herself being a tsundere. Must have been moe when he was young. Do you understand what moe and character are? Character like me is known as a tsundere. This is really interesting. I think we're going to play with the character's self-awareness of themselves as tropes. That could be really neat. It's a lot of signs. You know what part you'd chop off. We get this sequence, which is really strange. Those are real pieces of food over paper. That's really strange. and kind of horrifying, but also, like, amazing. The staff ate this with pleasure afterward. Of course they did. Sweat, hot blood, arm. Then we meet Oshino. Have some cute banter about being called Sama or Chan. Oh, it's not an equal exchange. Who is that kid? And we've been excluding her from the frame this whole time. We see that the frame extends. And then she's brought into the frame later, here. As she's given a name. I wonder if she's related in some way to the woman in the beginning who we saw him fighting. The remnants of a vampire. Okay. Another mystery. Weight crab, mind crab, heavy crab. And it's all pun-based. Light streaming down on all of them, including her. Must be a crab. Its name is of no value to me, but it is. It's important. Names are an important thing. Beside you, yet not beside you. Didn't become like this as a result of something. Your oh so pitiful look makes me unhappy. Rather cryptic. And then it's over. Okay. Oh, there's one other thing that I wanted to mention, which is a thing that goes on with the voice acting. I wrote down a specific timestamp for it. It happens throughout the episode. There are like two versions of Araragi's voice. His out loud voice. And then his muffly voice. Where's his in his own head voice? Also, I wanted to talk about the music, because it's not what you would normally expect from like anime background music. It's weird and atmospheric and sort of spirity and chimey. Yeah, a lot of bells, chimes, uncomfortable. It's really cool. It's really cool. Okay, I need to find a scene where Araragi does the muffly voice thing. But I don't know where. There we go. Okay, listen to that and then listen to... How do they do that? That doesn't sound like it's digital post-processing. It sounds like they're using a different mic, or he's like, when he's doing the inside his head voice, like he's really close to the mic. Hanakawa Tsubasa. It's subtle, but it's really noticeable. Yeah, he sounds much further away here. I don't know how they did that, but it's really cool. There's some next level stuff going on with the voice acting work here. As an anime product, this is an insane episode 1. Starting off with mystery and flashbacks, and really smoothly transitioning into building interesting characters and having them interact in interesting ways. And then into the main on paper mystery of at least this first arc with Senjogahara and her weightlessness. It all flows so smoothly that, like, as I said, I didn't expect the episode to end there because I lost track of time. That's kind of amazing. As a story, it's hard to wrap around because I don't know where it's going from here at all. But I'm intrigued. This definitely has my attention. I figure as the characters become more fleshed out, they'll be able to have more interesting conversations. Stumbled into something special. This is a different show. And there's a lot of it. Cool. Well, I'm going to wrap up this reaction. I'm kind of fascinated. So, I've been Teeaboo. This has been Bakemonogatari, episode 1. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, and I hope to catch you next week in the next one. If you want the next one a week early, you can head over to Patreon and acquire it. If you have any suggestions for like changing subgroups or versions or whatever, or I'm doing something wrong, please let me know as soon as possible so that I can get it fixed up and do this and make it as good as possible. But otherwise, I hope to catch you next week in the next one. Peace.